This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. This video will be on my own personal YouTube channel. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me this Thursday evening. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you've all had a fantastic week. What we've got coming up today in this video is we're crossing the I's and dotting the T's, really, ahead of the New Zealand 2000 Guineas this coming weekend. I'm going to bring you another horse, another Classic Watch 26 possible, that is trained in New Zealand. But before I take a look at the horse, where can people find the horses? Well, they can be found on classicwatch2026.great/site.net. That is where Classic Watch 26 can be found this year. Classic Watch 2026. You'll see there the site is growing slightly. Australian trained horses and New Zealand trained horses on the site now, and the Roll of Honour is ever expanding. Unfortunately, though, the horse we're going to take a look at in this video won't be adding to the pattern race winning list. The horse is yet to win a pattern race, which is not ideal. So we'll take a look at the horse in question now. War of Silence is the name of the horse, a 3-year-old colt sired by Snitzel out of a dam called Silent Sedition, who was born in 2012, and she is sired by War Chant. People will see that War of Silence is a dam line 8. This horse, and it's up to date at the moment, the horse has had 3 starts, and the horse has never been out of the first 3 in his career. 1 win, 1 second, and 1 third, for earnings of 30,775 New Zealand dollars up to this date. The horse is trained by trained by Mark Walker and Sam Bergerson out of Matamata, and it's another one owned by the Tiakau Racing. They have plenty of syndicates. Basically, these seem to be my go-to people at the moment in New Zealand. I've tried Origin of Love in the fillies. I was watching the 2-year-old races last year for clues. They managed to win both of the 2-year-old races with 2 different horses, La Dorada and Return to Conquer. Neither of those have appeared in classics at the moment. So I'm taking a look at a few of their horses, to be honest. This one I thought was interesting because it seemed to me that somebody went to New Zealand racing and asked them to put on a race to suit this horse. It was when it won first time out. This race wasn't due to happen, this maiden. It was added to the calendar at late notice, a week before the race. This 1,200 metre, 6 furlong, 3-year-old maiden was added to the list at Ellerslie. So I thought, aye. And if this horse wins first time out, they might fancy this. It did win first time out. Unfortunately, then they did try it again in a non-pattern race. It was a Guineas trial at Ellerslie as well, but the horse could only finish second up to 7 furlongs. And then the horse ran in the race the Origin of Love won, the Group 3 War Decree Stakes, where the horse finished third behind Origin of Love and Something Else in second. Very close finish on the day, though. But this, to me, the horse, sometimes when it's come under pressure, has looked quite green. You know, this is the horse's 4th start. You'll see there, race 3 wide without cover throughout. You know, the horse has been set some interesting assignments since it won first time out. And I do think it's learning on the job. I do like this horse for some reason. It's just because, really, I was looking to get on some of their horses, really. And it soon became quite clear that La Dorada and Return to Conquer weren't really classic horses. By the way, they weren't being campaigned around the trials. And then when they set up this race for a horse, set up this race late in the calendar, and this horse turned up, I did say I'd follow it if it won first time out, and it did what it had to do. So I'm going to give it a chance for the Derby as well. Maybe it might turn up in the New Zealand Derby as well. They're slowly but surely up in trip every start. Hopefully it'll. I won't say it shirked it that day, but I never for a second thought it was going to go past, if that makes any sense. Watched a lot of racing in my time, And I think in experience, the lines, I didn't notice it weighs 3 wide without cover throughout. The race is in the Origin of Love video. You know, go and watch it. We're not going to look at it today because the horse got beat. We're going to watch it win first time out after we've took a look at the form. But interesting horse, I do think. And I'm gonna chance it in a Classic Watch 26 possible. People will see it's entered for the 53rd New Zealand 2000 Guineas at Riccarton Park tomorrow night. Well, Saturday night, sorry, Friday night, Saturday morning. But yeah, interesting horse. I do like it. Snitzel seems to be one of my favourite stallions out there as well, I must admit. Take a look at the horse now. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the horse in a normal way, and then we're gonna watch it win first time out. Like I said, Dam Line 8, they're the key part for this. The problem with this horse, Dam Line 8, is quite a strange one when people look at it historically. We will do that first this time, you see. Starts off with a mare in 1690 called the Bustler Mare, and then seems to stop. There's very little in the 19th century. Look, stops there at 1750 at the bottom there. There's one there in 1841, the Dam Line of 8I. A lot of the more recent ones are foundation mares of different lines. So you can't really, even 1878 look there at Atlanta 8H. But actual Dam Lines itself, Dam Line 8, I've never chanced one before according to my list. This would be the first one I've chanced in any incarnation of Classic Watch. And so really what I've done is I've looked at the first, we're going to take a look at the first 5 dams of the horse in the usual fashion. I've tried to have a look at a few dams as well off the dams just to try and find any other horses that were well bred and won some nice races that are related to War of Silence to try and make a case for him. I think if people watch the Origin of Love video and this one, they will see I think Origin of Love as a more obvious candidate, you know. But this one is interesting. We're going to take a look at the dam of the horse first. Silent Sedition, a mare born in 2012, sired by War Chant out of Fiorentina, another Australian bred mare. Silent Sedition was decent. 24 starts in her career, 7 wins, 6 seconds and 4 thirds. 17 out of 24 starts in the first 3. Her career earnings of $1,177,150 Australian dollars. Silent Sedition was a Group 1 winner. She won the Reed Stakes of 2017 over 6 furlongs. She was also placed second in the South Australian Jockey Club Australian Oaks at Morfettville. One of them freakish mares that you can get in Australia that are just brilliant over any distance. Silent Sedition did stay 1.5 miles. She was also placed in the Kennedy Stakes, just under 1 mile, Group 1 second, and she was placed twice in that race. Actually, she was also third in the race in 2018. The horse also won 4 Group 3 races. She won the Aurora Stakes at Morfettville over 1,200 metres, 1,800 metres, 1 mile, 1 furlong. She won the Summon Stakes over 1,500 metres, and she won 2 Mannerism Stakes over 7 furlongs, as well as winning the listed Bendigo Guineas of 2016. So very good horse, Silent Sedition was on the track, which made me, when I noticed this straight away before War of Silence had raced, I thought this is the one straight away. When I saw this first dam, I thought, right, let's try this one. Hopefully it'll win, and it did. And here we are. So yeah, very interesting first dam we had, Silent Sedition. I did take a look at a horse I found just now, a horse called Perfect World, a filly born in 2017, sired by Pride of Dubai, also out of Fiorentina. So this is a half sister to our dam. Perfect World raced 14 times in her career, 2 wins, 5 seconds and a third, 8 out of 14 in the first 3, and she managed to earn $107,495 Australian dollars in her career. She might still be going round. Perfect World. She was second in the Group 3 Claire Lindop Stakes at Morfettville, and she was also third in another Group 3 race, the Group 3 unlisted, in the Group 3 Summon Stakes. She was also third in 2021. So Group 3 and listed placed, half sister to our horse, to the dam, of our horse. Second dam of our horse now, Fiorentina, a mare born in 2005, sired by Dubai Destination out of Porto Roca. Fiorentina was unraced. The second dam of our horse, War of Silence, unraced. Third dam was fairly decent though as well. The third dam was good, and she was also the dam of Monte Rosso. Porto Rocco, this is where I did get excited before War of Silence had raced, because I remember this horse going round. Monte Rosso, a horse born in 2007, sired by Jubawi out of Porto Rocca. Monte Rosso raced 17 times in his career, 7 wins, 2 seconds and a third, 10 of 17 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of $7,190,976 US. Monte Rosso, I think, won the Dubai World Cup. When did he win the Dubai World Cup? Yeah, he did. At 5. He won the 2012 Dubai World Cup. He was third in the race the year before. And he has also won 2 Group 2 races. The Group 2 King Edward VII Stakes at Royal Ascot in 2010. And in 2011, the Dubai City of Gold out in the UAE. The horse then went to a stud in Japan, where, as sometimes happens, they don't really sire many pattern race winners, foreign-based sires out in Japan. It seems to be that they're there to make the numbers up somewhat. You know, I'm assuming the stallions sellers will get a lot of money for their horses. You know, it's not the end of them when they go to Japan. They can still sire stakes winners, but I do think that the Japanese racing people through the sales prefer Japanese stallions who have won in Japan to sire their pattern race winners. Seems to be that way for me. Monte Rosso is, as a stallion in Japan, side plenty of horses. Look, you'll see side crops, 2 crops of 119, but the registrations were quite low. 356 foals were registered to race. 328 of them started, and 211 of them have won. 54 of them were placed. The horse side 43 2-year-old winners for just over 2,635,000. Oh, no, that's wrong, isn't it? 2 billion, sorry. 635,176,500 yen. And the horse never sired a year with an AER over 1. His first crop was nearly the best, 0.97. According to that, you'll see by year, you'll see again, he was the most around 2021 and 2022. They were hitting the track, but again, AEI of highest of 0.72. In 2018. The horse, I think, did sire a couple of stakes winners. I looked at maybe 2. I think if this site hurries up a bit, it might show us them in a minute. This site is going through a bit of a transformation. JBIS. I loaded this horse in today, and the site looked totally different. You know, it's still a bit slow. You'll see there that Monte Rosso sired the winner of the Group 3 2022 Ibis Summer Dash and the listed Yono Tankiori Stakes with 2 different horses, Believer and Hopeful Sign. A couple of Group 3 placed horses as well, but nothing in Group 2 and Group 1 races. It was the 48th best sire in Japan in 2020. That was the highest it got, when the AEI, as we know, was 0.7. So, yeah, he signed a few. Like I said, making up the numbers somewhat, it appears, looking at some of these foreign stallions. Another horse I found was a gelding, Blue Trail. A gelding born in 2019, sired by Teofilo out of Pietra Fiore. You'll see that Porto Rocca is the second dam of this horse. I don't remember this one going round. It's gelding. 12 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds and a third. 7 out of 12 starts in the first 3. Earnings of 135,905 UK pounds and UAE as well. Blue Trail managed to win the listed Churchill Stakes of 2023 on the all-weather at Lingfield. Happy Galaxy, an interesting horse. Another one with Porto Rocca as the second dam. Happy Galaxy, a horse born in 2009, sired by Nadim out of 7 stars. Happy Galaxy raced 14 times in his career, 5 wins, a second and 2/3, 8 out of 14 starts in the first 3, for earnings of 302,300 Australian dollars in his career. Happy Galaxy managed to win the Group 2 Expressway Stakes at Warwick Farm back in 2013, and this was also third in the listed Dandenong Stakes at Sandown the following year. So another Group 2 winner there that I managed to find. Another one I found was this one, out of 7 stars as well, wasn't it? Oh no, Bedini, the dam of it, was out of 7 stars. And Porto Roca was the 3rd dam of this horse. Bedini's Girl, a filly, born in 2018. At the time of finishing, following this horse, this website, 4 stars, 1 win, 1 second and 1/3. The horse managed to earn 72,600 Australian dollars, 3 out of the first 4 starts. The horse was in the first 3. Bedini's Girl managed to finish 3rd in the Group 2 Spirit of Boom Classic, over 6 furlongs for 2-year-olds at Doomben, horse bred by Woodpark Stud in New South Wales. Very interesting. The 3rd dam of the horse we're at now, Porto Roca, was born in 1995, sired by Barathea, out of Antilliere, the Australian bred mare. Porto Roca raced 25 times in her career, 5 wins, 5 seconds and 4/3. 14 out of 25 starts in the first 3, for career earnings of 677,180 Australian dollars. Porto Roca won the Group 1 Coolmore Classic and the Group 3 Tab Queensland Winter Stakes in her career. So that's another reason why I was strong on this horse before it raced, was that 2 of the first 3 dams were Group 1 winners. You know, the sort of thing I look at, I'm afraid to say. So there's an interesting horse, this. I'd be delighted if this horse was to win the New Zealand Guineas or the Derby. I'm not fussy. Both. But Porto Roca, interesting 3rd dam, Group 1 and Group 3 winner. And I think that Coolmore Classic might be the one that Lady Shenandoah won this year for older horses as well. I'm not 100% sure. I think that was the Coolmore Classic. I'm not 100% sure, like I said that. But yeah, the first 3 dams, first 2 Group 1 winners, and the second dam didn't damage it, unraced. She could have been a Group 1 winner as well if they tried her. Horses, now that I found related towards the back end, was this one. It was interesting. Bluebird the Word, a gelding, born in 1994, sired by Bluebird, out of Antilliere. So this would be a half-brother to our dam, Group 1 winning dam. Bluebird in the Word raced 58 times in his career, 7 wins, 7 starts and 4/3, 7 seconds, and 4/3, 7 wins, for 18 or 58 starts in the first 3. The horse earned 448,982 New Zealand dollars in his career. It's a good horse. He won the Waikato RC Wakanui Stud International Stakes, Group 1 race, over 1 mile and 2 furlongs. And the horse also won in his day the Group 2 Waikato Times Gold Cup as well, over 2 miles. So I do think that the War of Silence will stay 1.5 miles. You know, this is another Group 1 winner related to the 3rd dam of this horse. And I knew about this one before War of Silence had raced. I was absolutely delighted when War of Silence won first time out. It's fair to say. Bluebird the Word, interesting gelding. Another one who I found today that I didn't know was on this line. I do remember it going round, the Harrovian, a gelding, born in 2013, sired by Fastnet Rock, out of a dam called Harrow. People see that Antilliere is the 2nd dam of this horse, the 4th dam of our horse. Harrovian, I remember it never used to lose. It won 17 of 36 races and was placed another 6 times, 2 seconds and 4/3. Obviously got towards the end it started to get beat. It's not Winks after all. But there was a time when this horse was unbeatable in Australia. It must have won 6 or 7 or 8 races on the trot. And the career earnings for the horse was 1,005,580 Australian dollars. The horse was a bit of a handicapper. It did break through a bit. It won 2 listed races. It won the listed Tax Recognition Stakes at Doomben, and the horse won the listed Burngoff Plate at Eagle Farm. This is a Queensland horse, so sometimes the patterns are what they are. You know, Queensland racing is not as strong as New South Wales and Victoria racing. And arguably South Australian racing and Queensland racing are about the same. Both better than Western Australian racing. You know, there is a hierarchy, I think. And if they didn't travel, they obviously didn't want to travel the horse. They just kept the horse to Queensland and absolutely won some races with it. The horse was Group 1 placed in the Doomben 10,000, which is a good sprint in about March, April time. And the horse was also, again, placed in the Burnborough Plate of 2021. Group 1 placed, dual-listed winning gelding, but the horse at times was very prolific in the Queensland area. Good horse. Another one I found on the same line, I didn't know this horse existed either, it was called We're Gonna Rock. This is the Harrovian's younger brother. Another gelding, sired by Fascinate Rock out of Harrow. We're Gonna Rock raced 19 times in his career, 5 wins, 3 seconds and a third. 9 out of 19 starts in the first 3 for earnings of $576,288 Australian dollars. We're Gonna Rock was interesting. Won some races, won the two Group 3s, won the R.N. Irwin Stakes and the Bobby Lewis Quality in 2012. The horse was also placed in the Toorak Handicap, the Goodwood Handicap as well, placed in the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes and placed also in the Manicato. So this horse stayed a mile in the Toorak and was quick enough to win a Group 3 over 5.5 furlongs. Good horse. We're Gonna Rock. Bred by the same person as the horse before, Turnbull, in Victoria. But this, I don't know where this race, obviously this one wasn't Queensland based, was it? But yeah, very good horse, We're Gonna Rock. It's fair to say. Triple Group 1 placed, dual Group 3 winner. Another one we're going to take a look at is Cracker Roadie. A horse born in 2010, sired by Charge Forward out of Road to Damascus. People will see that Antillier is the second dam of this horse as well. Cracker Roadie, at the time of this site following the horse, had won 1 out of his 2 starts and was placed in another, but never out of the first 2 in his first 2 starts for earnings of 177,000 Australian dollars. Cracker Roadie was second in the Group 3 Maribyrnong on Plates at Flemington as a 2-year-old, which is one of the earliest 2-year-old races in Victoria. They held around the same time as the Melbourne Cup. Another good early fast 2-year-old there, Cracker Roadie. The horse did tail off a bit then, the 4th and the 5th dam were what they were. Antillier, a mare born in 1986, sired by Salieri out of Antel. Antillier raced 34 times in her career and won 4. No idea how many places or shows she got, and she managed to earn 104,760 Australian dollars. She was second in the Group 3 Lightfinger Stakes and placed in the Bolton Sprint Handicap, Group 3 and listed placed. So yeah, she's a decent enough 4th dam on the track to go with our 2 Group 1 winning dams before her. But I couldn't really find anything in between the 4th and the 5th dam. I did have a good look. Antel, the 5th dam, a mare born in 1979, sired by Loosen Up out of Soft Quest, who was born in 1969. Antel raced 24 times. No idea how many times she won, or was second, or was third. And it does say there that there's no hint of any pattern race form either in her career at this stage. No one that I can tell on the Pedigree Online Thoroughbred database anyway. So yeah, I did sort of hit a brick wall then, historically, you see, because we didn't have much to go on there, did we? And I couldn't really find anything between Antel and Soft Quest. A lot of the dams were like that, nothing much happening. And then I would click on the progeny of them, and they'd all be not filled in. I did look at that one. That's Ancillera South. We'll look at Soft Quest as an example, and I'll sort of try and show you what I mean. There you go. You see, not really telling me anything. Not even telling me if the horse raced. Not telling me if it's got any black type relatives or anything. So you'd have to click there like that. And then you just met with that, you see. I did look at page. I couldn't really find anything off the page. So I did sort of stop looking. I ran it through. I ran both Soft Quest and Antillaire through Arian to see if there was any stallions off related to them at Stern. I couldn't find any. So I stopped looking really. But Interesting horse, it's fair to say. We've got two of the first three dams, one Group 1 races. We've got Monte Rosso, the Dubai World Cup winner, kicking about. I've just got a feeling about this horse. Obviously, the form is what it is. We can. What we're going to do now is we're going to close down a few tabs to try and save on CPU, and we can think about watching War of Silence win first time out at Ellerslie earlier in the season. It's just a shame that the horse never won his next three races after that, next two races after that, because then if he'd have done that, I'd have been thinking I was a bit of a genius at this stage, because this I've always liked this horse just through trusting the connections and noticing that race had been specially put on. These people look to have the power to get New Zealand racing to possibly put races on for them. And this is that race that day, the 1200, the 6 furlong maiden. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at that race now, and then we'll see what we think.
Racing in the first of the day. And fast out was War of Silence in the centre, made a sharp start. Amani and Dubonnet Rouge going with it. Wide out, sliding across with those is Swoomy Swan, and also there is Rear Window. So it's Dubonnet Rouge the inside. War of Silence second on the yarder, just keen to go a little faster, the favourite. Rear Window 3 up, 4 wide Swoomy Swan. Tucked in behind Amani and also La Voisin. Royal Ascent is along the rail. Student of War is back and wide with a touch of Carver on the outside of Tet. Along the inside of horses, I'm Feeling Lucky, and the last two are Potentially and Uncompromising. There's a few in play here as they turn and go. Inside Dubonnet Rouge, outside War of Silence, 3 up on those Rear Window. Student of War peels for its run on the outside of Swoomy Swan. They're well in the straight. On the outside, War of Silence went up and joined Dubonnet Rouge. Coming with it down the outside, Student of War, and running a cracking race here is Swoomy Swan in the middle. Swoomy Swan on the outside of War of Silence and Swoomy Swan the 2. War of Silence lifting hard the inside of Swoomy Swan, and War of Silence will win on debut, beat Swoomy Swan. Third across, Student of War. I'm Feeling Lucky is flash late for fourth, and then came Royal Ascent from Tetbury, Dubonnet Rouge, Amani, La Voisin, and then came Rear Window, Uncompromising, and the last of them to check in will be Potentially. Just showed enough fight in the end here. Did number 11, War of Silence, the Schnitzel Cult out of Silent Sedition. Just took a couple of 100 metres at the start for Ropey to just get him to come back underneath of him. And he's going to hold on and win this by a half a head. Number 11, Swoomy Swan. Almost a fairy tale finish for Robert Dennis, number 13. And the Valet Tony Dennis maiden, 10, Student of War, an excellent debut after covering a fair bit of ground. And the fourth of the men looks as though it will be I'm Feeling Lucky, horse number 6. Been trialling on the heavy surface.
Very interesting performance, I thought that was. You saw there, even in the early stages of his debut run, the horse was throwing his head about, weren't he? Giving it a bit of the old, bit keen. And there was definitely, I thought, shades of that when the horse was asked to go about his business in the Group 3 War Decree Stakes on his last start. I think this horse is. You've seen that it's related to Monte Rosso, and 2 of the 3 horses that have bred the horse, 2 of the first 3 dams have won Group 1 races. You've seen a couple of other decent horses in there that I managed to find. I can't begin to imagine that people have even come close to seeing the full potential of this horse yet, irrespective of whether it does turn out to be a classic horse or not. These classics are very early in the season, aren't they? They've got a race all through to the end of July. They seem to be getting them out of the way quite quickly. I don't think there's any other classics in the second half of the New Zealand season, or what they do then. But they've got to be out nice and early, haven't they? Origin of Love was 5th last week, I think, in the New Zealand Guineas. The odds-on favourite won very easily. I could have looked at a lot of horses there, and I don't think we'd have beat that. I don't think there's been a colt up to this stage that's given me that impression. I think this race is wide open, and there might even be some fillies backing up in this race as well, the New Zealand 2000 Guineas. So all in all, an interesting race, and if this War of Silence does line up in the New Zealand 2000 Guineas, I imagine there is a more than good chance that you'll see this horse on Classic Watch 2026 www.great-site.net. Right, I think I can leave this video here now. Thank you very much to everybody who has spent 30 minutes of their time on this planet watching me talk about a horse in New Zealand. It is very much appreciated. Hopefully the horse does the business at some point for some. You know, I do like to find these horses. You know, I do like to look at on the flat more than over the jumps these days, it's fair to say. And it's hopefully we might have a couple of nice ones for some South African classics as well towards the end of the year. And then we've got obviously the European season, the Japanese season, and the American season kicking in around December time, January. January, February. They don't mess about. The trials start quite early, don't they? And then we're leading into Europe next March and April. So long way to go yet. Is this horse a classic horse? Well, I do think it's going to turn up in one. I do think they are going to run tomorrow night. It's very, very unusual for horses in New Zealand and Australia to be pulled out this late, unless they actually get to the stalls and the vet kicks them out, which is a different story altogether. But yeah, and it's also Cheltenham this weekend, the Great Wood Hurdle meeting, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Will they race or not? We're due a lot of rain over here in England, so hopefully the tracks won't be too waterlogged. And the people that enjoy early season National Hunt racing, I'll be interested in what happens in March at Cheltenham and Aintree and Punchestown and the Dublin Racing Festival. That'll probably be my first major look. But yeah, there's some very interesting horses I'm sure we'll find along the way. They will be on the Patreon. Don't forget to check out the Patreon, Newman Racing, for all your National Hunt needs at some point. And I will leave this video here, I think. Thank you very much to everybody for taking the time to watch it. What I will also do is I'll leave you an opportunity to look at the Classic Watch 26 Possibles playlist as well at the end of this video. And I will also leave you an opportunity to subscribe to the channel should you wish to subscribe. That way you will not miss any more horses moving forward. All right? I should be back hopefully at some point on some platform. Keep your eyes peeled. But for now, take care, everybody. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy your upcoming weekend and take care.